Hello, Blank here. A little bit of an odd update and such. Going completely out of order in the rebuild vlog, essentially. So, yeah, funny thing happened yesterday. I did a test stream. Something went wrong with the microphone.
Am I now a cyborg? No. Wait, my voice sounds like a robot? Oh, wait, now what?
And then after I got that fixed, killed a USB flash drive somehow, my network card started going wonky, and yet again my capture card stopped working. I kind of figured, oh, okay. I mean, these things have given me trouble before. Not 100% surprised that it possibly died. That's why I made sure I could return it in 30 days and such. But I decided to go one step further because all those other things were going a little weird on the stream PC, and I went ahead and plugged it into the Den PC. And it worked fine. Just plugged in this Elgato into my Den PC. That one. This connected to it. And so far on the first test, it works just fine. So now, I need to figure out what the heck is possibly killing the video capture card and the USB devices and the audio, and the only thing that I can really come up with is that possibly the case is shorting out the motherboard or the motherboard is faulty. So, I got to eliminate the case from the equation. Got to eliminate this, take everything out of here, and then put everything into this old beast as a little bit of a test box. You see the front's a little messed up. That's why I can't use it for, an actual build. But it's perfect for testing this out, and that's what I'm going to be doing for the next couple days. And hopefully uploading these as I go. Also, it couldn't have been more perfectly timed. I've got a big rework of my home network that I just got all the equipment for yesterday when everything on this fell apart. So I got to delay that a little bit just to make sure this will work again, and whether or not I need to just replace the case or just the motherboard or just the case and the motherboard, and lots of pain in the butt, stuff like that. So I'm bringing you along for this hopefully short journey, but we'll see. My luck doesn't tend to run all that great, as we can tell so far. Okay, 2 different views. Got this one so I can talk straight to you, and then I've got the GoPro up here so you can kind of see what I'm doing, if it's of any interest to you at all. I'm mostly recording just to see just how much goes wrong and to somewhat keep a record of how bad it got, how bad it gets. And I'm throwing all this recording stuff together as fast as possible, so if there's any quality issues, I don't care. I'm not even going to be editing it all that extreme. I want it done out there while I focus on this. So first step, of course, is get the power cable and plug that in so I don't accidentally fry anything any more than it's possibly already fried. Because I'm not 100% sure if anything else on here is damaged, like the video card or the hard drives or whatever else. This is fact-finding. Okay, video card. Unplug. That's one thing about this thus far. The actual screw-in places for the PCIe components were a little tight. Tight's usually good, but in this case, I think it's because they were slightly out of place, or just bad manufacturing for this case. Okay, so disconnect the motherboard. This is what I was talking about. Not easy. There's not a lot of room on the cables to disconnect. I remember this thing being a pain in the butt to install in the first place. It's not going to be fun. Oh, come on. Alright, let's get some slack. Release. I need an old priest and a young priest. Oh, come on. Get out of there. It's gonna break. If it hasn't already. Oh. Finally. Feel kind of bad. I spent all this time building this damn thing. Now I'm just getting it. And the screwdriver's missing. And that screwdriver's missing. Which means front panel off. And that just broke. Yep. Gorilla clip just broke. Awesome. Yep. You can see it's supposed to have 2 right there. Now it's got 1. And that fell into the case somewhere. This is probably a sign of what the problem was. It should lift right out. It's really not letting me lift it out at all. It's just wedged in. It's acting like it's still screwed down, but there are no more screws. What is going on? Oh, thanks for that. Freaking fan from hell. Where are you? Where are you connected? What in the world is your issue? Okay. Oh, let go. Now I've got it. Slides out. Ideally. Now with that done, there's a pretty good chance we won't be seeing or using this case again. Now, of course, I don't have a regular test bench. Be nice if I did. I do not. But a broken, relatively large, so accommodating case works pretty well in a pinch. Now, this is going to be rapid fire install. I'm not looking to make it pretty, just looking to make it run so I can test. Of course the jumper isn't going to work. I'm too caught up in my own head. But I did find the old front panel to this case. Now, I'm going to hope that it actually still works. Alright, so it boots up fine. I'm going to start a hardware test, and then I'm going to look at the standoffs on the old case. Well, the questionable case. And see, maybe there's an extra standoff, maybe that's causing a short. Not 100% sure. So let's find that out, shall we? And yeah, once this goes for just a little bit, I'll start popping stuff in and seeing if they work. Be nice if they do. Alright, after a little bit of a break and a little bit of testing here, it's running stable without the cards in. I looked at the case and I can't see anything. I can't see anything wrong with the standoffs. Nothing leaps out at me as to why the case might be shorting it out. So I'm about to shut it down, install the Elgato, and give it a test. Let's see. So I'm going to put it in a not usual port. one that's usually covered by the GPU, and we'll see if it works. Because if it does work, that means that most likely that PCI port is fine. And then we'll go to one of the ones where it hasn't been working. And it booted in. So I'm just going to go ahead and connect the camcorder to the Elgato. And it's picking it up. Alright, so that's working. You probably can't see it. Let me tilt this up a bit. No idea if that's all in frame or not now. That's the Stream PC monitor over there. And it's working. So far. Let's see if the output works. That's easy enough. We just swap this for the out. It's not working. Not working at all. So, I think that leads me to believe that it's the motherboard. Is that cable long enough for me to do a direct test? There we go. Out. And now that's a direct connection. It's skipping the splitter entirely. And that's working. What? And now that's working too. Wasn't working, then it was working, then it wasn't working. Okay. We're going to do a reboot test then. And leave that monitor hooked up. Leave that monitor hooked up. And we'll reboot. Okay. So reboot works. I want to test the game machines as well, see if it's a throughput issue. I don't know. What is your deal? That's working. I want to be able to test the output though too. So we'll plug this into the out. And that's working. With the switcher. Duh. What was that blinking? Now, we've essentially got this set up exactly how it should be. So, I'm going to reboot, fire up the Elgato. No signal. We're right back to that again. Turn off the switcher, turn on the switcher, no signal. So let's pull the HDMI out of here, reseat that, nada. So let's hook the camera back up, nothing. Like I said, this is going to be a rough vlog. Well, we've reproduced it in a new case. Goop. Goop. And that's a fan. Just in case you thought I was kidding when I said I had multiple of these. That's number 2. Number 3's in there. Number 1, I think, is in my parts closet. So the other thing that I used to do was a full shutdown. Turn off the power supply. Turn on the power supply. Power back up. That booted up a lot faster. And no. So, we're going to reseat it. I'm not holding out high hopes. This is looking like I'm probably just going to play it safe and completely replace the motherboard and the case. This doesn't prove that the case didn't break the motherboard, or that it was just a motherboard issue. No signal. Nothing. Pretty much knew that if this didn't work after moving it out of the case, that I was going to have to buy a replacement for both. If it worked perfectly fine outside of the case, then I would have gone ahead and just replaced the case and keep going like this. But no. It's still not working. Now, there's also a chance that I've destroyed this Elgato, so I'll be testing this on the Den PC and see if I can get it to repeat this problem. Then the Elgato's gone too, and I'll go ahead and get that replaced as well. Maybe I won't go with Elgato. I don't know. One would think 3 strikes and you're out, right? There's one last thing I should try, and that is swapping the PCIe port. What I'm willing to bet is that it'll work again and then stop working again. Connect your capture device to get started. That's not a good sign. Not at all. It is connected. What are you talking about? I think that pretty much proves it. Motherboard's dead. Either that or the Elgato's dead, so I'll go test it in the downstairs Den PC and see if that works just fine again as it had been doing. And if it works just fine and consistently, then yeah, motherboard is definitely dead. So let's go give that a go. Alright, so the Den PC, if this works here, then all bets are off. Of course, I'll have to do a true test, even if this works out right. I will probably need to bring the Xbox down, plug it up here, and see if I can get that to work. And probably the splitter as well. I wonder if it would just be easier to take the Den PC upstairs and test it out where the Stream PC is. Anyway, as you can see, that's working. But I also have the TV over here set up. Let's mute the game audio. We don't want it we don't want the TV firing up and repeating what I'm saying. Are you gonna turn on? It's still doing it. Ugh, whoa. That's a little trippy, I'm not gonna lie. Okay. Now we do a reboot. I looked at the second TV. Working fine. Okay, I'm gonna quick get the camcorder because it outputs in a 1080, and as we could see upstairs, it was not reading either. So we'll work backwards that way, and we'll use the same equipment. So let's swap that, and I'm back. And it's doing both again. We're doing fine. Let's see what happens. Hopefully it won't kill the recording. Anyway, I've got the camcorder here. Plug it in. Huh. And yeah, it instantly recognizes both. The very next test after that, bring down the Xbox, bring down the switcher, and if it works, I'm just going to declare that motherboard dead. There's no way it isn't at this point. Okay. Got the switcher, got the Xbox, got the same cables. A direct comparison, the only difference being what computer it's plugged into. Technically, what motherboard it's plugged into. Let's turn it on. Both of them. Yep. Both are turning on. So now reboot the machine. That's working right off. See, this is what it's supposed to be. I'm no longer really swearing at Elgato unless they haven't updated their compatibility. And capturing just fine. So, I'm on the camcorder now, because I filled up the GoPro. I just rebooted after getting the switcher, putting the switcher back in. And, yeah, it was reading it fine once the switcher was put in, but as soon as I rebooted, it's not picking that up automatically. So, let's find out. Open up Game Capture. Yeah, this is going to be an awkward handhold. Sorry. No signal. See, the thing that doesn't make sense to me though, is I can restart this, connect the Xbox directly, and it still won't do it until I turn off the Xbox again? That makes no sense. So we're going to play around a little bit here. I got some extra HDMI cables. We're going to swap those cables, and we're going to see if anything works. About the boot. That should be kicking over. And it's not. Real quick. No signal. We're doing this again. Alright, so I'm going to try and find a way to do this while holding the camcorder and whatnot. And I've already been through back and forth. You know, power off. So we get no signal, and it's no longer showing the black screen, no signal. Power off. The HDMI switcher. Power on. Nada. So let's go ahead. This is the HDMI from the Xbox. Put that straight on in. The black, no signal with the wheel. That's what I've been getting a lot of. And of course, no pass-through. No pass-through, none. So shut down the software. And again, no signal. Let's turn it off. The normal no signal. Let's turn it back on. The no signal again. Shut off the software. Reboot. Seriously, reboot the whole computer to make it work again. And yeah, it's working. Two and a half strikes? 2 3/4 strikes? I don't know. But that's working. So I'm going to go ahead and start the process of swapping the HDMI cables from the splitter. See, the other thing that makes no sense to me is that this was working fine from the splitter for a good 2 weeks? 3 weeks. Yeah, close to 3 weeks. And then all of a sudden, bang. No, not happy. So, yeah. I'll get another cable, and we'll see what happens from there. Okay, so I plugged in the newer cable, and it worked just fine. Okay. Accidentally hit the stop button, and it did auto swap, which is good. So now I'm going to hit the switcher button. And it has swapped. Well, look at that. Maybe it was a bad cable, but that doesn't explain why sometimes when I was skipping the switcher completely, it broke. So we're gonna reboot. So that booted. But that, oh, and that did. Okay, that's good sign. That's very good sign. That started up. That started up. Okay. I just realized this means I have to redo that test upstairs again now with this cable instead. Okay, so we might have had a combination of things. It's still a possibility that that Stream PC motherboard is borked, because it wasn't working even when the switcher wasn't involved. But maybe the switcher with a bad cable messed it up a little bit. So, I mean, I guess that is possible. Locked it up in some way. So now I get to take everything back upstairs and test it that way. Lovely. Back to the Stream PC. Okay, back up here. I've got the Elgato connected. Except for the out for this one. Switcher's connected with the new cable. It's in the same slot that we were having some luck and then no luck with. And I forgot to put the power cable into the camcorder. I'm a little tired and hungry, but I'm not giving up until I get this. Sorted. Now, weird thing is, I got back up here, and this was on again. Shouldn't have been, but it was. All my nice, neat, clean setup totally destroyed by this point. So the camcorder's already connected. So we should be seeing, well, depending on what the switcher has on here, input 2, we should be seeing, oh, that's right, it stopped reading it altogether, right? Let's see. Connect your capture device to get started. That's right, that's the message we were getting before, and we have basically reseated it. Oh, wait. I think it was picking it up for a second there. No signal again. Whoa. System reboot required for installation. That's the first we've run into that. That should be kicking on any second here, if it's going to work. And it's kicked on. I don't like the fact that it wanted me to reinstall again. Okay, so that's functioning thus far. Let's fire up the Xbox. Immediately switched over. That's the switcher doing its job. Okay. Alright, now to test the other thing. Restart! If this turns out just to be a bad cable, I will be very annoyed because I've already been through the whole swapping cables thing. That's what got it working the first time. That's why I didn't immediately do it massively comprehensively again. That should be kicking over, I think. Unless you need me to log in first. Okay. And what was I going to do? Oh, yeah. Next step. Now you come back on. Good. OBS. Now OBS is working massively better. I always had to deactivate and activate. So I do think there was some instability being caused by this case. Yeah. So there's still more for me to test, like video card in there or in combination, but so far this is working. Another reboot. And then we'll do a full cold boot. If it works right off from this, or right off of this next reboot, we'll do a full cold boot, see if the fact that the switcher is still powered when the PC is off. We'll see if that has anything to do with why it just doesn't like to work occasionally. It's working. Okay, time for a full cold boot. Because bear in mind, this is still not the port that it was originally in. This is just a port on the motherboard. There were 3 that it was having major issues with, so I need to find out if they've been damaged. So full off. You gonna come on? Okay, well, that port works. Real test is coming up, putting it back in the port that it's supposed to be in, because where it's at right now will not work with a video card there. Total shutdown, and let's move the card, shall we? It's real loose in there. I don't remember it being that loose in this one. Hold on. It does seem a little different. You might not be able to see that now that I have that angled differently. That didn't sound right either. We're off to the races. Now, we might have to go through that whole installation thing again. It is interesting the Den PC didn't have to do that. Device manager, still not reading it. Maybe because it's not connected to the internet, it's giving it trouble. No, it wasn't connected to the internet the first time. Reboot again. Why do you have to be so much trouble? No. You're gonna reboot? Uh-oh. It's not restarting. Well, fortunately, that makes me feel better. It wasn't wrong to be doing these tests. Motherboard is... there's no reason it shouldn't be shutting down. And there's no reason it shouldn't be detecting the devices randomly. Motherboard shot. The Elgato issues seem to have been... The Elgato card might be fine. It might be a cabling issue, but there was definitely stuff being added to it by this motherboard. And for all I know, the case killed the motherboard. The case was being wonky enough anyway. So, yeah. New case, new motherboard. Ow. Ow. Got the fan again. Well, that's kind of officially all I can do tonight on this because, well, need a new motherboard and case. It's money I didn't want to have to spend. Anyway, I guess that's the end of this vlog for right now. When it started working on the den after that case, after that cable change, oh man, I was very embarrassed. But yeah, it won't reboot. It won't boot. It won't reboot. It won't boot. It just finally. So, yep. That's all for today's vlog. Hopefully tomorrow will go a little bit better. I'll probably be ordering a new motherboard and case, if not just driving out and getting it. A 2-hour drive, round trip. And working on the new network. That was another part of this vlog. I'm updating the network. I'm so glad that this machine decided to go just before I installed the new hardware. Because it would really suck if it actually killed the rest of the hardware. In fact, as I'm saying that right now, I'm a little worried that I may have just killed the Elgato by putting it back in there and the fact that it won't reboot back up. I should probably turn that off. See you tomorrow.